Hello, welcome to my channel, Manifest with Mama Muchka. Hi, my name is Rachel. This video, I want to talk about detaching from an outcome and letting go. Because this one's a hard one-ish, I feel like. I did a video a long time ago and I was talking about, like, this isn't letting go of your desire. And I talked about, like, letting go of the old story, that you got to like let go of the old story and be in the new story. But if there is fear behind, and so this is going to be all talking about fear. If there's fear behind your desire, it makes it really hard to detach, really hard. So to explain, so I was this way at first. When I first started off in this journey, I was very attached to the outcome. And it's fear of not being happy without the fruition of your desire. Like your fear of not having that person, fear of not having that job, fear of not having the money. Especially with the SP, it's super huge into, they're the only person in the world that can make me happy. So it's really, you get really attached, and then you find out about manifestation and you're like, oh cool, people don't have free will, and that just amps up the attachment to the outcome. It really does at first, because you're like, wow. Like if you didn't know anything about manifesting and somebody broke up with you or rejected you or don't want to be with you, I mean, maybe if you're a really confident person, you might keep asking them out or something, but a lot of people just move on and they wouldn't even think about it. And people still do get back together even without knowing about this stuff. But you learn about manifesting, you learn that people don't have free will, and you're like, you get super attached to that. You start getting obsessed with the wanting that outcome, that person. I'm going to be with that person. Um, you get so you get it when you're needy, you're desperate, and you're obsessed. It really drives up that attachment to that thing, that person, that thing. I have to have it, which drives attachment is resistance. I don't think I wrote it down, but attachment is resistance. Just so you know. So you want it so bad, the possibility of not coming is avoided at all costs. Oh, I've done this. When I first started out, I was this way. The attachment is born out of fear. So it's fear. Back to the fear not being, fear of having to experience what we don't want. Yeah, we fear of having to experience an outcome we deem undesirable or unfavorable. Yeah, what we don't want. You know, but I want this person. I don't want to be with that person. What if I never have the chemistry that I had in the SEX with this person? What if it's never as good? I mean, it's just, you have this, you'll start putting this person on such a high pedestal that because you have the fear, and it's like they're the only person out of 8 some billion people that can, make love to me, and they make the best drinks, and we have all these things in common, and we were going to travel the world, and we were going to go do this, and they just, only that one person can do this for me. And I'm not saying you can't get your person. I'm just saying what is going on when you're attached, when the fear and you're attached to that one person. And I'm teaching you how to detach so you can get the person. So we avoid it not coming in so we'll avoid that at all costs. Avoid that we do, like, avoid not having it. That's what I mean. We avoid we avoid all outcomes. We avoid the possibility of not having it by doing more affirmations, more visualizations, more going coaches to coaches to coaches, do watch more videos after videos after videos, and just like obsessed with manifesting because we have a fear we're not going to get we have a huge fear we're not going to get that person. Huge fear we're not going to get that desire. That's what a lot of this boils down to. Like if you're struggling, there are people that can easily detach, but this is for people that are really struggling with detaching or want to understand it more and what's going on. So, well, and yeah, so we're watching videos and all that, but we're avoiding our wounds and fear programming. Like, like what child? Because a lot of times too is like I found out that I had like fears of abandonment, and I've done a lot of inner child work on my journey, and yep, I've learned a lot about my fears, my childhood fears, adult fears, all of that. But I ended up having I actually ended, and I've talked about this, like I did do deep inner work. I'm still doing inner work still because I want more out of my relationship with my person, you know? And so that's addressing my wounds, addressing my programming, addressing my fears, and keep working on my self-love and all that stuff. Like at first I avoided it, and then I actually addressed it. So how do you work on correcting or detaching, or what do you do? You become aware of the fear. You become aware that you're very attached to this person, this outcome, and that you're needy, you're desperate, and you're obsessed. And you're thinking obsessively of them, like you have to, and that you realize that you're being obsessive over, like your whole life's revolved around YouTube videos, affirmations, visualizations. You become aware. There's a fear going on. There's a fear. You accept it. First step is accepting. That drops resistance when you start accepting what's going on. You sit with it. You could do I just talked in the last video about exposure therapy. Watch some YouTube videos on exposure therapy. Like sit with different outcomes even. And you might think, but that's not what I don't want to manifest being with a different person. You're doing it to drop the fear. You're doing it to dissolve the fear. You're not doing it to manifest someone else. You're doing it to dissolve the fear. The fear. The main fear is this may never happen. So you got to sit with the outcome that this may never happen. And this is I would say even with a job or even with money. Because there was like a success story I remember of like somebody trying to manifest this specific job for like 5 years. And as soon as they actually accepted that this may never happen, boom, it came right in. Like within a week. I can't remember the story. But like that's to show that like when you sit with the fear that this may never happen, it boom, drops resistance. Yeah, you accept it, you sit with it. I mean, if you have to cry, shout, scream, I don't know, whatever you got to do, write letters, how mad you are that this isn't going your way, whatever. You got to get it out of your body. You got to get it out of your body. You got to sit with it. You got to feel it. And you surrender to it. I have this horrible fear. I'm never going to get this. And this may you might have to do this for several days, a couple of weeks, depending on how high your fear is. But it'll over time, it'll dissolve that resistance. It'll dissolve that fear. And then you'll think totally different. You'll calm down. You won't be in fight or flight. And another thing too is in a way, if you are like doing tons of affirmations, tons of visualizations, tons of YouTube videos after you, and you are so focused on attached to that outcome, it is like a form of chasing. You're like chasing after it. Even if you're in no contact with your person, but it is a form of chasing after the outcome. And it's believing that that is the only way to make you happy. But as you learn in this journey, happiness is within you now. You can actually be happy now. You can have a fulfilling life now. Fulfillment is now. You can embody being with your person now. But it's harder to do that if there's a ton of fear. So this too, this is also is helpful because when you're identifying with being with your, because when you manifest, you're manifesting. I do it from identity, and I am that person. And if there's huge fears going on, it's gonna keep resistance and it's gonna help you to really go into the state, and like the state of love, the state of being that person's wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, however, whatever. If there's a whole bunch of fear, it's resistance. And what you resist, you persist. So just addressing the fear, maybe looking at your wounds, addressing your fear programming, sitting with it, accepting it, feeling it, getting it out of your body, knowing that you're safe. I didn't write this down about being safe, but knowing that you're safe no matter what, and you're going to be okay, and you're going to be happy, and you work on it, you can create that feeling in you that really you can be happy in that, be magnetic, radiant, all that stuff. And then that is what's going to clear the energy to allow the person then to come in. But it is facing these fears, sitting with them, getting them out of your body, letting go, because we don't just manifest from our identity. We're from our mind. I mean, our bodies are doing it too. And if our body is like full of fear, and we're very attached and desperate and needy and like freaked out, like I remember when I very, very first started out on this journey, and I remember like watching people, it took them a couple years to get their SP, and I was like, oh no way, I'm getting him like right now. And I remember watching like videos 24/7, because I'm like, I'm gonna get this now. Yeah, and it didn't work then. I mean, yeah, I got him later on, but that's after I actually stopped manifesting him for a bit, for a couple of months there, kind of, and worked on fears and self-concept and other things. But anyway, there you have it, a video on... Yeah, and then when you address the fears and all of that too, if you're still here, a bonus tip, if you're addressing the fears and you're sitting with them and you're accepting all outcomes, even if you accept you may never have this person, and you get rid of all that, it makes it so much easier to be in the new story. Like 100 times easier. I have found with things that I've manifested is when I've just went, because that's what it like. I've been having. I need to. I don't know if I'll share or not because it's personal. I've manifested a lot of things between me and my daughter, and I actually, since I know this stuff, I actually accepted that I may never talk to my daughter again, literally. And I actually didn't care. I know this sounds like harshness. Why would you not want to talk to your daughter? But I knew in the back of my mind we would, because I know how to manifest. But it dropped the resistance, and she wasn't on my mind at all. Like, she wasn't on the forefront of my mind. Not like when I was trying to manifest my person. That was a whole different story there. But I was able to, do the scripting, do some affirmations, and like easily let it go. And my daughter did come in, and things are getting better and better. So, just flipping thoughts isn't always flipping thoughts and flipping in the, oh, I got to be a new story. Oh, I got to be a new story. Oh, I got to be a new story. But you're still in huge fear of being attached to the outcome. Keeps the resistance up, which keeps your manifestation away. And I know it's super, super, super. That's another thing. Looking at your wounds. Like, why are you so scared to, is there a huge fear of abandonment that you're so scared to look at this may never happen? That you're so fearful that this may never happen? That's hitting a childhood wound, most likely, which I would say it is, by what I know now. I mean, I'm saying, because I'm not a therapist, but what just like things that I'm all learning, it's coming from childhood wounds when you're sitting there and you're gripping on so tight to this one person and putting all your happiness into them. So, all right, I think that's all. Hope you all have a good day. Hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.